For February the 12th, 2021, we talk about Dyson Sphere Project, Concrete Genie, and we ask you what microtransactions you feel good about. Welcome to Level 360. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Smith.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. We had an intro where we talked about the big game, but then I noticed my computer wasn't recording anybody but me. And as fun as that would be, to just have one side of my conversation, I decided we should probably fix that and restart. So, hey guys, welcome back.
Hey. Yeah, we also collectively know fuck all about the Super Bowl, so it probably didn't lose any valuable.
That was kind of the bit, was that we had all paid so little attention to it that it was, that was the bit. So
I feel like though our proposal for the Super Bowl draft, I think that has some merit.
It does have, yeah. So the idea that before the Super Bowl you draft randomly from across the league and then force that team to play. I think that
you have to see how many Brady's you get.
Further commodifies professional athletes.
Yes.
Actually, him being a clone would make a lot of sense.
It would.
I suddenly get it.
Yeah.
Going like Agent 47 style.
Spoilers.
In the interest of speeding the intro along, because we are getting a bit of a later start today, I will say I've not been doing shit. I mean, I've been doing a lot, but not a lot that was worth, let's say, commenting on specifically. So I don't have anything to check in on. just gonna put that out there and own that. Oh, you did what?
I said I went sledding today.
Nice
thing.
Do you have access to a good sledding hill nearby, or do you have to schlep a little bit?
We've got a couple. We've got options out here, but yeah, there's one probably 5 minutes away. That's pretty sweet.
What is
go ahead.
What sort of sled?
We've got two. It's like just a rudimentary plastic one, and the other's like a foam board.
Nice.
That is pretty sleek.
Are we talking like the UFO plastic one?
No, a little more oriented than that, I guess.
Okay.
That's the right word. It's got a place for your feet, and it's got a string as if that's going to help steer it, and it's totally not.
No.
Which that was the small miracle, is we only had one instance of one of my kids bowling over the other on the way down the hill.
Okay.
Was Aaron okay?
Oh yeah, they're totally fine. I would have bet way higher.
See, growing up, I had one of those like wooden sleds with the runners, and I feel like those must have been created just to like Mad Max kids.
Yeah.
Okay, with runners and crosshairs.
No, you didn't have a sled. You had a fucking toboggan, dude. Somebody was trying to Ethan Frome you, dog. So, it has been so long since I've gone sledding. I remember having a really good time doing that. This is good to hear. This is welcome news, Dennis.
It's been so long since I've lived in a city that gets snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not highly recommend living in a city with snow, but highly recommend sledding.
Yeah. What I need to do, I know that there are places around here where people inner tube down the snowy hill, and that seems fun. That seems like a more that seems like a more adult friendly version of trusting your body to a thin piece of plastic.
Like the snow days.
Wait, what?
I was like the snow days that you see where you had a bunch of college kids like try and figure out how to make something that resembled a sled out of whatever was around at a house.
Yeah, and the only hill that we had at the University of Cincinnati was just like a big brick road.
Burnt woods. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was also the woods. Yeah, burnout woods. Yeah. Well, that sounds fun, Dennis. What fun wintertime activities have you been getting into down in Alabama, David?
Not too much. Did some hiking actually, which was kind of cool.
Neat.
All right.
Got a bunch of like land trusts, stuff like that. In the area, and also actually, I don't know, maybe this is weird, like use for technology or whatever. We're actually able to like use Google Maps, they're like satellite views to plan out like, oh, this trail looks like it'd be pretty cool.
Oh, does Google Maps tell you if that goes in and out of property where that somebody might be defending with a rifle?
It does not. So
Gotcha.
you gotta be careful with that, because
You gotta go into the camera mode, and there's like street view, there's like the traffic highlights, and then there's rifle circles.
Yep.
And then turn on the rifle circles.
Yeah. It's just like a stealth game. They show the little vision cones.
Yeah, just stay out of the cone.
They show you dead zones, but they don't tell you which ones are which.
If you're out of the cone, you're in the zone. Yeah.
I'm just imagining like you walk into one of the zones and you get the little from Metal Gear.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the temperature to get back up above 35, and I'm gonna go do some walking out in the woods. Out here, it's been a little while since I've gone to my old trails, so nice. Well, hiking sounds like a good wintertime activity. Ben, what good wintertime activities have you been up to?
Dude, I'm going stir crazy. I finally hit me this week that I'm ready to not be in my apartment for the majority of time anymore.
As we circle around to a full year of this?
Yeah. I think that maybe that's like what I'm thinking about in the back of my mind too. So
yeah.
But whatever. 6 more months, we can all make it, right, guys?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
It reminds me of I had an internship in college where the company I was working at got sold like a week after I showed up.
Oh, God.
And that meant all of my projects got canceled and all of my bosses were just freaking out and looking for jobs for themselves. But I was paid. Like, I was good. I just had nothing to do. I was like, this, first week, I was like, this is the ideal job. I literally come in, play on the internet, and no one is thinking about me. And by week 3 or 4, I was like, I want something to do. I want to work.
Please. If I'm going to be in a place.
Only do so much Minesweeper.
Yeah. It's tiring not doing anything. Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose is good. And I know speaking of purpose, people on Slack have been talking about how the war between me and Dottie has seemed to escalate. She has her teeth sunk into my finger right now. But mostly she is sitting and just staring at me here in front of the monitor. So we should be fine. I will try not to lose my temper at her. She tends to be calmer when she gets her collar on, which is good. I got her collar on her after 2 days of trying. Anytime I pulled it out, she would run away and hide. But I snuck up on her, and now it's on. So
you corroded her with a collar?
Kinda. I kind of squished her down. I used a treat to lure her up on top of a stool, and then I squished her down with my forearm, and then used that opportunity to get the collar on her. So now the collar's on her. Jeez.
The Hitman approach to pet parenting.
Yeah, who's my little target? Yes, you are. You're a little target. She's bitten me 4 times since I started that sentence. So
I like the implication from her behavior so far that banter is for mind games, and then the grind is for positioning. And by the end boss, you just have the open all out assault.
Oh no, she goes right for the keyboard to fuck things up. So we've got the regular kind of show for you. Dottie interruptions and all. Hey, no, stay away from that keyboard, girl. We got the regular kind of show for you. So why don't we do the grind? Why don't we do the multiplayer? Then round out with the end boss. And let's get started with The Grind. The Grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the past period of time or so. I'm going to lead us in because I've got something new. I've played through 2 of the missions in Hitman 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I picked it up on PlayStation 5. I've not played nearly as much of it as I would like to have. I've done the mission in Dubai, where you are trying to take out some people from the big conspiracy in the new tallest building in the world. It's, you know, like bigger than the Burj Khalifa. It's pretty gorgeous, actually, because every level that you are on is above the cloud level, is above the cloud cover. So when you look out,
wow.
it's like you're on Bespin, you know, which is pretty cool, and everything is all opulent, you know.
so did you defenestrate the guy?
No, that's one of the options. I didn't defenestrate the second target in the mansion in the Knives Out episode that's up in Scotland, where you are attempting to. Well, one way to get near the target is to pretend to be a private investigator and solve a murder that took place there. Like, she has gathered her whole family to like discuss the inheritance, you know, for the future, because she's part of the conspiracy and she knows that her days are limited. And her brother was killed that morning. And so, like, you can go around this big mansion with a whole bunch of like wait staff and secret compartments or whatever, secret passageways, and like look for clues and interrogate, you know, witnesses and confirm alibis and stuff like that. That person I didn't defenestrate, but I got her alone after I delivered my verdict. I don't know if it was the right one, and I pushed her off of a third floor balcony. So
is there possible to just like get her convicted of murder and that be your way to like kill her?
Assassination method. Piano wire? No. Sniper rifle? No. Penal system? Oh yeah.
Trigger to pick someone else's mail up.
Yeah, so it's that was one of the ways. Basically, I'm doing, like, as I'm playing through this, I'm just going through and I'm doing kind of what seems like the most fun of the story mission pathways, you know, that you can do, kind of the pre-baked you know, sequence of events that you can follow that lead to, you know, kind of more spectacular deaths. I'm looking forward to, after that, going back and you know, kind of messing around with more of those and just kind of playing and seeing what I can find. But that's one of those things where if I say, oh, it's more Hitman, at least so far, that may it sounds kind of underwhelming, but like, I don't know, since Hitman 2016 and Hitman 2, like, these are amazing games, and if you want more of that, it's here, you know, to the point where it just sucks up all of your Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 content, and you can just play through all of them in a row in the Hitman 3 engine. Like,
unless you're on PC, right? Is it?
They're in the process of fixing that. We had an end boss about that. But at least on the PlayStation 5 right now, that is a possibility for you. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. It is more Hitman.
I haven't realized it till now, but like Hitman shares the same DNA with Untitled Goose Game, where you're just like walking around and fucking shit up and having a good time doing it.
It's Untitled Goose Game, except instead of honk, usually when you talk to somebody, like Agent 47 says something that is technically true, but is also a very dry double entendre for "I'm going to fucking kill you." You know, like when you talk to the lady whose brother when you're trying to solve the murder, it's like, oh, you know, I'm sure that you will, you know, I'm sure that you know your way around a crime scene. And Agent 47 says, "Trust me, I spend plenty of time in crime scenes." Not investigating them, making them, but still the same.
You know.
So here's the story in my head for that tallest tower in the world mission. Defenestration is not going to be an option, because at that height, they can whip out their phone, place a call, and be like, "Hey, yeah, it was this guy who got me," before they hit the ground.
Shit. Like, weirdly, they bring back one of the kills that I noticed. There's a There's a service person who was like talking on the phone, like saying, "I thought I was going to kill this guy. I fucking hate him, but you're right. An exploding golf ball is ridiculous, so I've just kept it in my locker." So you can totally put the exploding golf ball there, and like, I don't know, maybe pretend to be a golf instructor and like bring one of the guys up there to practice his drive off the world's tallest building.
Excellent.
I saw on Video Game Donkey did a video of this where it's like they can go parachuting off the building.
Ooh.
And so you can cut the parachutes so that they just jump off to their death.
Oh, I love that. That's like
Self-defense.
The way Video Game Donkey did is they jumped off and then he shot them on their way down.
Oh, that's like the kill in the DLC for Hitman 2, where like one of the targets is just this like tech billionaire guy who owns an island, and one of the ways you can kill him is just to sabotage his jet ski, and then just really to like encourage him and talk him up into going and showing you the sick rides he can do on it, the sick jumps off of waves. Then he gets out and just boom. Explodes. It's so funny. It's just slapstick is what it is. Like the Hitman games are just slapstick. I think that like it's weird because you hear the name and you hear what you do in it and you think, oh yeah, that's going to be like grimdark or whatever. They're some of the funniest games in the world. They're so good.
Well, and especially I love I don't know if this was in the new Hitman 1 or if this was in 2, but the challenges, which range from like, hey, we're going to teach you the game, like, show you some, good things to do, to just like, hey, we're going to encourage you to do really dumb stuff.
Oh yeah, dumb, kind of impossible stuff, but if it works out, it's going to be great.
Like, I think my favorite is there's a mission where a guy is going to get a heart transplant.
Uh-huh.
And one of the challenges is to first go and destroy the heart that's going to be transplanted into him. Then go and like dress up as a doctor and botch the procedure, and then go kill him. And like any one of those will kill him.
Yep, but you got to do all of them.
Because
triple bypass.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing more of it. And there's like a story. It's fine. Conspiracy, etc. Any questions about those missions in Hitman 3, the Dubai or the mansion?
Well, so here the next gen test is you need to jump off the building yourself and see how far down it like renders stuff out before bring you back up. I want you to be able to go all the way.
Just see a
high def,
fully fleshed out Dubai.
Yeah.
Oh,
we had to make the entire city in excruciating detail.
Yeah. No, you skydive and you end up landing right in the middle of Spec Ops: The Line.
Ooh, you can port in your saves from Hitman 1, Hitman 2, and Spec Ops: The Line.
How many people were alive in Dubai when you came here? Agent 47. Oh, man. So, the other thing I've been playing, I haven't finished it, so I don't know how much I ultimately have to say about it, but I started streaming a game called, in English, it's the Nameless game. The Japanese title is Nanashi no Game, or Nanashi no Gimu. It is a DS horror game, like a survival horror / adventure visual novel kind of thing, where you're playing as a student who has received a copy of this game that is going around that is cursed. Anybody who plays it will die in 7 days. That's a very familiar premise, but it's a cool game. This was never released here in America and never got like an official localization. What I have been playing is actually a fan patch, which is something cool that happens with DS games, since so many good ones did not come here. Yeah, like you're going around and like your friends are dropping like flies, and what's neat is as you go and investigate the places where they died, their ghosts will appear to you, but also you'll get like little updates to the game. And when you get those, you actually go in and you're playing this little like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy style, like top-down tile-based RPG. You're not doing like random combat or anything. You're mostly like exploring these little spaces and doing like rudimentary stealth, talking to people in towns and stuff. But like the events of the game and the way people die are kind of like reflected across both the game and real life. Which
Danganronpa had a bit about that, right?
Yeah, they did one with not Twilight Struggle, because that is the good tabletop game or board game that we played, Ben, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was like Twilight Syndrome or something like that. Yeah, where a murder very closely matched with a video game, so you had to play the game. Yeah, but this is its whole own thing. There's a little bit of a frustration because I'm emulating this. This is one of the few DS games that asks you to play it in I forget what they call it, like storybook mode or whatever. So like, all right, so if you picture holding a DS like horizontally, like let's call that like hamburger style. If you turn it up on its side and hold the open DS like it's an open book, let's call that hot dog style. That's how you spend a lot of the game. That would be one thing, but you're going back and forth. So as I am streaming it, I'm having to like change the display quite a bit. So there's a little bit of friction as regards that. Also, a lot of friction in regards the first person exploration that you're doing in 3D. It is the slowest, most awkward movement I have ever seen in a video game. Ben, you can attest.
To which part?
To the slowness of the walking in the 3D part.
Are you talking? Wait, sorry, you're talking about
what's that?
You talking about Phasmophobia?
No, I'm not talking about Phasmophobia. You saw the game. You saw the Nameless game that I was playing over the weekend, right?
I saw the top-down part.
Oh, you saw the top-down part. Okay, no,
Yeah.
You didn't see the 3D. Yeah, no, the 3D is pretty. Like I described it. I said you're not walking; you are riding a tricycle with 3 rectangular wheels.
But wait, is it slower than Phasmophobia?
Oh God, yeah. It's slower and like
Crawling
clunkier.
simulator?
It's pretty bad. I don't know why that is. But yeah, it's not a great way to move around in a 3D world, but the story and the spooks are all good enough for me. Now, and I'm excited to see the rest of it.
Is there any kind of series that this is attached to, or is this a one-off?
No, just a one-off. Published by Square.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels like so many horror games kind of are in a series or in a connected universe anymore. So cool to see an original IP.
Yep. The music is really earwormy as well. Once you hear it, it'll be stuck there forever and ever and ever.
After you hear the music, you die in 7 days, I heard.
Yes. Yeah. Any question about the Nameless game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Who has something new?
I do have something new.
Okay, Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I did a story kind of making fun of games that use the light bar for PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that? And I found myself this week playing a game that prominently uses the light bar, and it is delightful. So I picked up Concrete Genie through PlayStation Plus.
Oh yeah, that is one of the free games this month, isn't it?
It is, and it's a relatively recent game that just came out right at the launch of the PlayStation 5, and thusly has kind of gotten buried. But this game is really, really cool. And a prominent piece of it is kind of painting on walls, and you're using the light bar for all of that. Just kind of pointing and maneuvering the marker on the screen by moving the controller around, and it works really, really well. Like super intuitive, and I've enjoyed that. It's the kind of motion controls that don't try to get you up and moving around or sitting in any kind of silly pose. It is just genuinely the most convenient way to input what you're trying to do. So I've appreciated that.
Nice.
And that's good. The story is interesting as well, and kind of sets a tone that feels very unique to me, or that just has, I'm still watching it play out, but the story is that you are a kid that kind of grew up in this fishing village, and I don't mean that like off on some random island, like a fairly industrialized fishing village, like in the docks or whatever. And economic hard times has seen pretty much everything in the village shuttered, and everyone's moved out to the suburbs or what have you. But all the kids still come and play in this village. They call it Dansk, and that's like where this is set. It's all run down. They actually put a lot of groundedness into it. So
you said dance, like is it spelled GDANSK? Is it like at the Polish city?
Yeah, DANSK.
Huh. Okay.
And it's by Pixel Opus, so I don't know if they have connections to that area.
Okay.
But yeah, so you find a magic paintbrush, you are painting these monsters that come to life and follow you around on walls. But for all of that, the like economic background of this area feels very, very grounded. Like, fishing village fell in hard times, people moved out, all the shops shuttered, and now they don't really have money in the town to pay someone to police it, right? So all the kids just kind of break in and goof off. It made me think of, there was a concrete graveyard when I was a kid that we would go and play in that had the same vibes, right? Like you're not allowed to be in there, but also there is literally no one that's going to stop you from being in there. So you just go have a time. And so, you're this artistic kid, you've done a bunch of drawing in a book. You're also kind of a loner, and the other kids, pick on you whenever they see you, which introduces like a stealth element to the game. And that stayed very, very kind of rudimentary and out of focus. Mostly the game is about going around and beautifying areas of the town, because early on you discover this spirit that I think its name is Luna. And it kind of indicates to you that it wants you to help revitalize this area, revitalize Dansk through art. So again, that's very, very whimsical and also very grounded, right smashed next to each other, which works. So you're running around the town, you're painting these murals, and basically you bring up your option to paint. It gives you a bunch of different pieces that you can build with. And then you paint those on the wall, and the game's AI kind of interprets the shape that you make to draw around that. So, you draw a line and the game makes it a vine if you have vine selected, or you might pepper in some totem poles or campfires or trees or what have you. And it's kind of this, you are setting the lines for where everything shows up. The game is making it look really good. And it does look really good. So it's been impressive to see that, take my awkward inputs, although made slightly easier through this motion control, and turn it into something that looks genuinely cool.
Does it require you to have the PlayStation camera attached, or is the motion control like a, just a plus, like a nice thing to have?
I have not tried to turn it off. I would be very surprised if it didn't let you in some way turn it off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, since I have the rig all set up, I just went with it.
So what is the coolest thing you've made?
My favorite go-to is the Northern Lights. Just because
Aurora Borealis.
That's right.
Okay.
And you can, the way that's set up, you can make the line very squiggly, but it interprets it into the really cool, feels like it's very vertical, but a ribbon kind of look, if you know what I'm describing.
Okay.
That just plays very well with the way the game kind of textures over the stuff that you're painting. It's also interesting, like in a game about being in a rundown, abandoned old industrial area and painting murals on the walls. You almost like would expect them to go like graffiti style, but they go a different direction. It's all very almost like neon sign art. Like it's got a much more animated feel to it, and it's much more glowy. There's still kind of it still feels painted, but it steps away from graffiti. And if, in fact, whenever you see graffiti, which is littered around by the other kids, it's almost painted as this like dark, antithesis to what you're doing, which is interesting because I've seen a lot of really cool graffiti or graffiti used to beautify an area, and I've seen the other side of that, but they just kind of they don't really touch it that much.
We only do the good graffiti, dang it. We're the good guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so the one other weird thing that's happened, and I haven't seen this multiple times, but the kids find you in a cutscene. You're trapped in a cutscene. You can't get away. And one of them grabs this paintbrush that you've been given, and you get like a memory flash or vision of that kid's home life that causes them to be a jerk to everyone else. Which is like I think I'll have to see how they do it with other kids to know if it's done. Like
how empathetic is it?
Fine. Yeah. What's that?
How empathetic is it?
Yeah, it's fairly good. It's just I mean, and it's fairly G-rated as well. Like it shows their parents arguing in the background, and you get okay. They're that kid's parents are fighting. They're out here to escape that. I get it. So it'll be interesting to see like if the arc of this story is about you helping bring these kids together or something like that. Like we'll see how rosy it's going to go. But the moment to moment of kind of Assassin's Creeding around this industrial area and painting murals is really fun and satisfying.
Nice.
And you get these little light bulbs that light up. Literally, there's light bulbs strung all over the city, and they light up when you paint near them. And so that's how you know where to go or where you need to paint to kind of complete an area.
Right.
So yeah, it is a very odd game because like that is the game. Running around and painting murals is the deal.
So it sounds like a much more chill version of Jet Grind Radio.
Yeah. That is an excellent way of describing it. Yes. Yeah. And at least so far, the other kids have been a relative non-issue. There are like specific times where they're standing in an area you need to paint, but all you need to do to get them away is like stand somewhere else, press the shout button, they come and investigate, you go paint it, and then you're gone by the time they come back. It's never been very difficult or felt like true stealth. It's just move the pack of kids from one place to another with a button.
Yeah.
Can you feed the kids to your monsters?
So we're feeding kids to monsters. We are, I assume, Ben, you were asking about defenestrating them.
Yes, from a third floor window.
I haven't quite got that to happen yet, but we will see. Yeah, fun game, and I'm early in it yet, but it was a lot of fun to play. The one weird decision or thing that I didn't like was the way they animated the characters' mouths. So it's got that. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to, but like it's almost like a South Park feel to it, where the mouth is like papered onto the 3D model.
Oh, so it's a little decal that cycles through the flaps. Yeah.
Exactly, complete with like a very low frame rate compared to everything else happening in the game. And that's fine as an aesthetic choice. Like that's great, but it is literally the only thing in the game like that.
Oh, weird.
The eyes are fully modeled. Like the rest of the faces are fully modeled. It is just the mouth that is this 2D imitation, and that feels wildly out of place.
That's where they ran out of budget, right?
That's honestly, like that is immediately what it suggested to me. So if it was a design choice, it does not ring as coherent with the rest of the game. If it was a budget choice, okay, I get it.
That would be especially creepy. Like, how detailed is their eye movement or like other expression?
Yeah, it detailed enough to feel very out of place with the mouth.
Okay.
Maybe there's some mouth DLC that they're trying to make you buy.
Yeah, they meant to patch it in and just never got around to it.
It's the high-res mouth pack.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is Concrete Genie. Any other questions about that?
Does it evaluate your like, does it assign a point value to your graffiti that you put up? Like, are you trying to okay.
The only thing that it does is there are some sections where your monsters will request a certain decal to be used.
Gotcha.
So it's like, oh, I need to use the the campfire decal on this mural, or I need to use the stars decal. And as long as you do that, as long as that element is in the mix, it's considered successful.
Is one of your monsters Nemesis from Resident Evil?
I wish. So I guess I should say you draw your monsters too.
Oh,
so you
cool.
construct them out of pieces just like you do the murals. Which there's some kind of figuring out to do there. For example, wherever you start your line is where their head is. And so for the first couple of monsters, I drew them upside down on accident. And it's Spore-like, like Spore from back in the day kind of figures out how to animate whatever you draw. So I wonder if there's convincing remakes of actual monsters.
You made it. You brought that to mind when you said that one of them wants to see stars.
Oh,
so
yeah, I got that joke.
Okay, cool.
I see what you're saying.
Dennis didn't seem to get it, and it was killing me. And
no, this is my lack of RE knowledge coming through.
Okay. Oh man, no, that sounds neat.
Yeah, it was a good time. And that's really what I've played. More of the standbys, but nothing significant to say about it.
Cool.
I played more of the Frozen Wilds DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. As I predicted last week, got to bigger and better monsters, got to really fun fights, and the DLC is kind of opening up very nicely. So
cool. Any cool new like monster types?
Yeah, but essentially a giant grizzly bear type monster. Which I found out is very good at climbing, because I went and hid up a cliff from it, which I thought was a good idea, until it just kind of hopped up there with me.
Yeah,
it was a fun moment.
Yeah. No,
sorry, I missed. I was looking at screenshots from the Concrete Genie game. What game is this?
The Frozen Wilds from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
So there's now it's no longer just dinosaurs.
Correct. Yeah, they're going all kinds of different directions with it.
Neat. Including grizzly bears that can climb. Thought it was only black bears that climbed. You know what? I probably wouldn't want to fuck around with any bear, regardless of it.
Especially a robot bear.
Yeah, right. I probably would have a better chance against a robot bear, because you cannot logic bomb an organic bear.
Nope.
So, yeah. So the less sad about our chances against a bear, the better, I think. Yeah. So let's see here. Ben, how about you?
I only got one this week, but it's a new one. I started playing Dyson Sphere Project.
God, okay, cool. I want to hear about this.
God, I'll tell you.
I totally meant to play this, and then just I spent my time getting ahead on work instead. This looks baller. This looks really
you
good.
Fool. Why would you do work instead of play video games? No, I mean, this is like a pretty easy transition from Satisfactory. Yeah. It's another factory game. The pitch on this one over Satisfactory is that the scale changes a lot more. It's kind of like Satisfactory and like Katamari Damacy, maybe. That said, I haven't really got to the point where I've gotten off the planet that I've started on, but you're supposed to be able to. So it's another factory builder in the same vein as Satisfactory or Factorio. It's probably closer to Factorio. It has like a lot of the same mechanics of Factorio, where you can build anything that you have the materials to make in your inventory, it'll automatically like figure out the recipe to get there and build it for you. Whereas like in Satisfactory, you have to kind of manually do that yourself. But it's kind of like your choice. You can manually build stuff, or you can make factories to build the components that you're trying to make. There's a pretty involved tech tree to get you from basic building to a Dyson Sphere, which is for people who don't know, a thing that you build around a sun to harvest all of its energy. And I think you're supposed to try and make like a galactic empire in the vein of Star Wars. But yeah, what else? On top of that, there's an interesting thing where in addition to the regular tech tree like that to give you new things, there's like a abilities type tree. You're playing as a mech, and so there's tech you can research to like unlock abilities of your mech to basically move faster, fly, build faster, those types of things. Have more energy to do things. So that's cool as well. You can like go down those paths instead of going down the tech tree paths. Much like in Factorio, there's different cubes colored that for research. So it's kind of like the movie equivalent of a MacGuffin, where it's like, oh, now you need to make red cubes for research. It's like, why? I don't know. But there's like a science fiction-y explanation for it. But yeah. Anyway, I guess that said, I'm on like I'm about to unlock the third of 5 different research cubes, but since it's this type of game, like to get the next one is usually like 2x the time for your previous one sort of thing. So yeah. I don't think I'm like, halfway through the game by any means or anything like that. So I just got the ability you can unlock a jetpack so you can like fly around the world that you are on. The world's like a sphere similar to like maybe like Civ Rev or something like that. An interesting mechanic with it is there's a structure you can build to like flatten out the ground and put like a metal plate on top of it. So it, to make your factory kind of nicer. Right. It's also
a literal research cube then?
Well, that one's just like a metal plate kind of sort of thing. But the interesting thing about it is you can put it over like water, like lakes, or I don't know if they're oceans or not. I'm not sure what the scale of your planet is, but you can put it over water, so like you can make land where there wasn't any. Yeah. And they keep track of like your dirt inventory. So like if you flatten out a hill, you get more dirt. If you fill in an ocean, you lose dirt. And so like you can get in situations where you have to like go place useless plates on like a mountain just so you can get dirt so you can fill in an ocean. So it's like it's a little bizarre, but the one thing that's interesting for like the future going forward is like it's procedurally generated, but they have like a bunch of different planets like in your solar system and like in the galaxy beyond that. So you start to develop tech where you start to be able to travel a lot more like within that. I think I just got technology so that I can orbit the planet that I'm on, so I can like fly away from it. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting game. That's kind of like my go-to relax for the time being. So.
Nice. So I'm somebody who like admires the complexity that's available to in Factorio, but I found certain things like managing power loads pretty intimidating. Also, just like setting up the actual like distances for getting piles of resources and hoppers and stuff, like it's like getting things to join at the edges was pretty frustrating. Like between Satisfactory and Factorio, like which side is this closer to in terms of being streamlined?
Well, to be fair, Satisfactory kind of turns into Factorio with the amount of like resources you need. Okay. And like the slowly growing stress of like managing complexity. But with this one, they do stuff that's like quality of life. I've like looked at the tech tree. Everyone can look at the tech tree. There's like there's a thing you can build so that's like you get these like basically like drones or like kind of like hoppers to like go pick up and deliver resources around the planet for you. And they only work at the planetary level, but that's something that's like a very like nice ease of life where it's like, oh, I don't need to build like a conveyor belt across like half this world. I'm just going to put in an order to these things and they'll figure it out. So I think they do like in a lot of things like that, they do try and pick the thing that's like a good quality of life type decision where like it makes the game more fun and less like go build a factory yourself sort of thing, you know?
Right.
But that's not to say that those elements aren't there. You still need to do like, you know, whatever factory, Jenga, Lego thing you need to do to get stuff to work. They have like conveyor belts, and that's like that plays very similar to how it was in Factorio. I think the one difference is there's 3D in this one, so like you can adjust the height of where they're going, and so with that you can kind of like build around most things. Like even if there's like a building in the way, you can kind of you can like go above it if it's a small one. They also like force padding on buildings, with like a 1 square ring around them.
Okay.
And basically one of the benefits of that is you can never really box yourself in. Then you can always kind of like walk through your environment.
Oh, that's cool.
But part of the reason why they do that too is like this kind of like saying where you need to build conveyor belts if you want to have like arms that'll pull in or put out resources.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So basically, like right now, I'm still trying to get more red cube technology, which sounds so dumb to describe it. And like I'm about to unlock the yellow cube technology. I don't know what the recipe of it is, but basically, I think that's kind of the pattern of how I've kind of found it is just trying to maximize the research that I can do at the time, and then once I get like a good infrastructure set up for it, I'll have like a good economy of it, and then I can like look into what to unlock from that point, and then I kind of like wait and just like unlock everything I can unlock, and then at that point I need to build infrastructure to unlock whatever the next thing is. So,
right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good for now. I'm curious to see like where or like what happens when you start going between planets and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's early access too, so they're going to be adding to it. Yeah. Have
it's
you
like every game these days. I don't know when I made the switch, but I now play a bunch of early access games.
It's not you. It's just there are no regular access games anymore. Just everything is always early access.
Yeah. I suppose so. I don't know. I don't think anyone's played it, but I know like everyone's playing like Valheim now, which is like some Viking game. I have no idea why but it's, I mean, looking at the tags, it's like base building, sandbox, exploration.
It's Viking Rust. There was an article, but like a front page thing on Polygon, just like saying, this is the big new trend. So I imagine some streamer probably got a hold of it, and it became a thing that everybody wanted to try. I admit, I thought it would look kind of fun. I don't know. It seemed like a good idea to get in on the ground floor of one of those, but then that was just earlier today, and I had a lot of work to do.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
A new system to master before it's become incredibly complex.
Yes, just not going into a game after the meta has been solved. You know, for years and years and years.
Ben was talking about the stress of managing a system that's getting more and more complex. Now I want the platform that merges all of your Factorio likes together. And so it's like, okay, suddenly your Factorio world becomes something in you said Dyson Sphere?
Yeah, Dyson Sphere project. Yeah.
It sounds wrong because it's the name of a vacuum. Mm-hmm. I guess it's in a vacuum, but it becomes a world in Dyson Sphere, but not everything reconciles the right way. It's like merging something onto a new OS, and you got to refactor a bunch of stuff to make it all fit together.
I had a more cynical take on it, where it's like you're a video game company, make these factories of like game components that you just have to like shove together and then just like pump out to the public.
Oh, don't we someone make that Unity store?
Yeah.
So that's a relevant critique for the next couple of weeks, anyway.
For the next couple of weeks, what's the next couple of weeks?
Just until the world moves on to something else.
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm. Nice. Did you have anything else, Ben?
That's all I got.
Okay. David, how about you?
I got nothing.
Boy.
You got hiking.
Yeah, I got hiking.
I do hiking. I play hiking. I play a hike. I'm caught in a loop.
multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Dennis, you put up the question here. What'd you ask the nice people?
Well, I can't read that until I receive a microtransaction. So
Okay.
just shove that into your phone. No, so the question is about microtransactions, though. Generally they're kind of talked about in a poor light. But I wanted to know about a microtransaction or similar in-game purchase that was totally worth it to you.
Yeah. And I will get started here with Greg, who says, most mobile games offer a, quote, starter package to get new players a boost for $1 to $3. I'm happy to pay that so I can give the game a fair shake and see if it's worth my time or extra money. And I spend more than that each time I do my laundry anyway.
This is a good point.
I mean, if it's a free game and it's otherwise a kind of game that you would pay $1 to $3 for at a time, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think we've talked about before on the show about how this weird economy of free mobile or anything over $1 in mobile is considered insane, just how messed up that is. But I like the idea of treating starter packages as kind of the price of entry for a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like they should just, sell their games.
Yeah. But
nice.
you don't make any money charging people for something that you give them. Wait. God, such a weird market. David, what does Patrick say?
Patrick says, I bought a Ghost Shell in Destiny 2. I bought it for 2 reasons. First, it came with the bonus XP perk and the one that makes your sparrows instant summon before they made everyone do that. And second, it was for charity. It was mostly for the second, but the first made me feel like it wasn't a waste.
So I only caught maybe 1/4 of the words on that. It wasn't your connection. What is the Ghost Shell?
So the ghost is the Dinklebot, your little robot companion.
Okay,
it's
your
the Clank to your Ratchet. It's the Daxter to your Jack.
Gotcha. Okay.
And your Sparrow is basically your hover bike. And so normally it takes like about 2 seconds to make it appear and you mount up. And so having the ability to do it instantly, which, like you said, now everyone can, but for a long time that wasn't the case, makes it much more viable when you're in effect like running around doing errands to just hop on the thing, even if you're going a short distance.
Yeah, those 2 seconds add up. Yeah.
It solved a problem that it gave the players.
And it was for charity, so that's good too. That almost changes the nature of the transaction. Yeah.
Yep.
Ben, thank you for that explanation, David.
Definitely.
Ben, what does Rookie say?
Rookie says, I'm not proud of this, but I bought a Hadoken emote in Monster Hunter World, excuse me.
Monster World Hunter World is a very good game.
Hadoken emote in Monster Hunter World for $2 or $3. It does pitiful damage, but sends my teammates it hits flying in a really comedic, over-the-top way. I like to pretend my hunter is a martial arts master, but finds no use for it in his day job. And then he gives Dev, let's include a Hadoken emote. Exec. Dance Hadoken, great idea. Dev, but Canon Ryu, he's the strongest.
The exec insisting. Dan's the strongest.
Yeah, I like the idea of like, look, I'll blast you across the map with this, but using it on the monsters would be cheating.
If it's a fun way for you to mess with your friends, that's good. And I don't see any problem with that. I am going to render judgment on every single one of these. Right here.
So I feel like the devs though really missed a option for making some money, because I don't know about a Hadoken emote, but a Hadoken emote for my Palico, I would definitely buy that.
Get a little key for your Palico. Yeah.
Is the follow-up DLC that is a stationary car monster that you can beat up for a couple minutes?
For points.
That would be good. I would like that.
Dennis, what does David say?
He says, I played about 80 hours of Warframe and loved it without spending a dime. When I decided to kick the devs some money on the in-game currency, which is basically pay to skip grinding bucks, I spent some money on the in-game currency, which is pay to skip grinding bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, I stopped playing soon after that. Oh no! But I don't regret supporting the devs who made such a cool free game.
Yeah, that was you just paying afterwards for a game that you enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. The implication here is that there was some connection between like opting in and losing interest. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that is intentional, but that would be a really interesting psychology experiment.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, like just get like a weird variant on the marshmallow game.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. I feel like in all of these games, and sorry, Warframe a little bit has this. I want the ability to pay for a reasonable system to earn whatever I was buying in game.
Okay.
Mm.
So, like, for example, like getting the new Prime Warframe would take me like hundreds of hours to get in game. Or I can buy it and get it instantly, which I'm not interested in doing, but I'd love to buy it and be able to get it in, say, like 10 hours of grinding.
Yeah. Can't you, with your paid cash, can't you buy like XP boosters and stuff like that in a lot of games?
Yeah.
Like I think it's probably there. It's just not advertised as that's the option.
I want a system where you can buy to slow down somebody else's XP gain.
It's like somebody that you're trying to get to quit the game.
That's called EVE Online.
But then no streamer would ever gain a level.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Huh.
I mean, Grant, I would pay money to like ruin Pootie Pie's day.
Does he play Warframe?
I'm sure he plays something.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's see here. Tim writes, I bought a lot of new songs for Rock Band back in the day. I kept the game fresh and I could pick and choose the songs or bands that I was interested in. Totally worth it. Yeah, that's like the value proposition on Rock Band. You can expand it.
Did they had to have had a subscription model, right?
No. For the entire time, it was just either a la carte or they put them out in packs so you could get a discount, or you got a bigger discount if they released a whole album. And you bought the album all at one time.
Time before subscriptions.
I know.
Back when Netflix was still sending CDs.
Yep. Weird times. Considering that was 13 years ago. Oh, God.
I know.
What would a Rock Band season look like?
I don't know. Like, it would almost have to be like Guitar Hero Live attempted to do something like this, but they did a very bad job at it. It would almost need to be like
the craze for this type of game was 13 years ago.
Right. They tried to bring it back, but also like it was like, hey, play these songs when they're on. Like they had it was like almost MTV, and you played along to like the videos that were up. And you had to like pay extra if you wanted to pay to play like a particular song. It was weird and off-putting, actually.
They would do like Halloween music and Christmas music if they made now,
now if this was being done, you would pay. There would be a subscription service where it was just like access to the catalog and stuff would come in and go out.
Yeah.
Do like a Game Pass kind of thing with it.
And you tier that catalog. You got to be gold tier if you want to play, I don't know, songs for the deaf.
So Just Dance does a version of that where they have Just Dance Unlimited, where you get all the songs, and then there's just an ongoing channel where you can play some of the songs that you wouldn't normally have access to because they're in the channel. And I think that's had a lot more success.
Yeah.
But we booted that up. We got new Joy-Cons recently, so now everyone has a single Joy-Con. So we're like, oh, we can all play Just Dance. Booted it up, and I forgot that game makes you watch an entire commercial for their unlimited pass every single time.
What? Oh God!
What?
It is untenable.
Awful.
Ugh.
Awful.
But Rock Band songs, good.
Dennis, I think I have a bias against like marketing people because anytime I hear stories like that, I'm like, some marketing person was like came up with this idea. Make a lot of money if we did this.
Oh no. Let's see here. David, what does Sam say?
Sam says, I'm not really into microtransactions and cosmetic DLC, but the Anarchy's Children DLC for XCOM 2 lets you dress your soldiers up in booty shorts and take off their shirts, which was totally worth the $5.
Oh,
Cool.
completely agree. The I think I bought the version of XCOM 2 that had this DLC baked in. And yeah, if you're not using it, you're playing the game wrong.
Can you mix and match? Can you just have like that one recruit who's just like really saucy compared to the others? Cool.
Oh yeah. Well, and you can the game randomly generates characters and you can just tell it use the entire pool. And so you'll have this person that's in like pretty regular buttoned up XCOM military gear with like 16,000 piercings and face tattoos. Or, the standard tack vest and booty shorts, as were mentioned.
We're trying to save the world here. We're not running like a debutante ball. Come on.
So basically, you end up with your XCOM staffed by like Boogaloo boys.
Basically, the theory is if you run out of ammo, just kill him with those thighs.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke about
end lives.
I was going to make a joke about if one of your guys got captured and they tried to interrogate him, you'd be in trouble because these hips don't lie. But then I realized it's you who does the interrogation of the aliens. So yeah.
No, XCOM 2, the aliens are the occupying force now,
Okay, cool. Whew.
The joke stands.
Yes.
It's integrated. Yeah.
Ben, what does Gwen say?
Gwen says, I just bought a $3 map on Forza Horizon 4 because having the icons on the minimap makes the game 4 times more fun. I still don't feel good about it.
$3.
So, I don't understand this. What is... I don't understand.
Yeah, I have to imagine this is like showing secrets locations.
Maybe.
Or something
okay.
like that.
So when she said bought a map, I was thinking like
a
as
level.
in like a new track. No, this is literally buying a map.
Huh.
Oh,
that's the way I
awful.
read it. Yeah,
It's like what you do in Hollow Knight, but with real money.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I feel substantially less good about that. Although it's still, I don't know, $3. Yeah, that is, no, I can understand why you don't feel good about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. And then finally, Dennis, what does Julia say?
Julia says, I paid $12 for this skin in Gears 5, and I have no regrets. And it is the Sarah Connor Terminator skin, which is badass.
She weirdly fits into the Gears aesthetic.
Oh, perfectly.
Yeah. Like weirdly perfectly. There we go. Yeah. So moving on to ours, I've told this multiple times, I've generally become less resistant to doing like little in-game microtransaction kind of stuff if I like the publisher, but like a big one for me that got me over that hump was when Super Stickman Golf 2 came out. It was free, and I had gotten so much enjoyment out of the first one that I just like I threw them $20 on their little like their currency or whatever. You got points or like coins that you could drop into a gumball machine that would give you new hats for your characters, some of which were purely cosmetic, but others of which gave like special abilities, different ball behaviors and things like that. But mostly it was just a way for me to say, this game rules, you guys rule, everything about this rules, you get $20, and that's good. And I feel good about that. So yeah, Super Stickman Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the theory of small DLC purchases as tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. It shouldn't be blocking like a mechanic from you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that kind of segues into mine. I think the only DLC that I've purchased, but also feel good about, is paying money to Rocket League after I had played the game for like years and years and years, and felt bad that I'd only spent $20 on it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll get money for your slot machine, but this is to make the game full price for me.
Yes. Was that so? You threw money in. Like, what do you get in return for that? Like, is it literally just a slot machine for skins, or
it was literally a slot machine, which was problematic, and they changed it. But it was it was like a single reel thing that would spin down, and you would get like a skin of some kind or a car model or something like that.
Gotcha. Huh. David, how about you?
Man, I have not done a whole lot. Partially, I don't play a ton of free to play. Probably for me, it would be Warframe.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't play a ton of free to play. Hundreds of hours in Warframe.
Well, I guess I play one free to play a ton. So, although that's mostly been fairly utilitarian purchases, like new Warframe slots and weapon slots, things like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know if I've actually bought anything purely cosmetic in that.
That's fair. Something with utility is allowable as well.
Yeah. I mean, the game has some excellent cosmetics, so there's definitely good stuff in there. I just don't think I've happened to really had call for it at this point.
Yeah. I also like the framing that on average you dabble in free to play games.
Yes.
On average. And Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, mine is at the platform level. So I actually bought my PlayStation 4 Avatar, which as I say this, I'm wondering if it will port over to PS5.
Probably.
I think it's at the genericized account level. But I bought Yosep from Machinarium.
Oh yeah.
I'm in love with everything about that game's design, and I specifically sought it out and had to plan my purchase of it because if you go to buy something that's less than $1 on PlayStation Store, at least at the time that I did this, it was this weird, like you had to add a certain amount. So I had to kind of wait until I could slam it into another larger purchase to download. But that's been my icon ever since.
Yeah. I was about to say.
I really like my PlayStation Avatar, although it was free, but I really like Scarf Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine is just the baby chicken. By
which you mean a chick?
Yeah. If I said a chick, it would make it sound like I was being disrespectful to sexy ladies, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, it's a round baby chicken with a little beak in its eyes there, It's it's good. It's cute. I was about to say, I was like, well, what in the world is his avatar? Of course it's Yosep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I need to play the new game from Manida. Creeks.
What is?
Yeah, it's called Creeks. It looks very similar to
Hey.
I don't think I talked about it. I've played that like the first 10 or 15 minutes of it.
Oh dang. Yeah, the art style is very similar to Machinarium. It's got the very sketchy kind of look to it.
Yeah. Oh, this looks
sketchy art.
It's got a very sus style. Oh man. Good question, Dennis. Thank you for putting it up.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for answering.
Yeah. If you'd like to participate in these in the future, you can go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast and watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons.
The End Boss.
Now it is time for the End Boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games that are exciting to us. I've got something pretty cool. I had no idea that this was even a possibility. We've had a couple of stories, either in the brief or the End Boss, resulting from the Nintendo Mega Leak. you guys seen this? Have you heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was pretty unexpected was documents and dev files for the original Super Mario World were released and exposed in such a way that people online, specifically, let me make sure I pull up this YouTube channel. It's probably going to break my recording. At the very least, it's going to probably play a noise. No, it won't. This YouTube, you can find these on YouTube in an account called The Brickster. If you go there. So what they had done was they identified all of the samples that were used to compose and arrange the music for Super Mario World. So these were, I think, just Sony samples that came with the synthesizer, like the onboard kind of like MIDI voices and stuff like that. They found the original ones and they were able to recreate what the Super Mario World sounds like, what that soundtrack sounds like without the Super Nintendo compression. That is not to say that this is the way that they were meant to be listened to, because the developers knew what kind of hardware they were working with. They composed it so that it would sound good coming through the compression on the sound chip on the SNES and through the speakers that were available at the time, etc. But if you go and listen to these reconstructed themes, and I'll put in a little comparison here probably. It's really spooky because you are hearing this like clear as a bell version of these songs that you very likely have memorized, that likely play in the background of your head, but like the version that is fuzzy from being on SNES hardware. And this is a really interesting and it's impossible to overstate how cool it is. It's a very cool kind of like document that shows like what an intermediate step of composing for hardware like this would have been, right? Mm-hmm. Taking these original samples. They've done most of the songs on the soundtrack, and it's worth poking around and listening to all of them. It's very good.
It's an interesting uncanny valley is a negative connotation, but it's this interesting uncanny valley of reality where it is definitely clearer than you've ever heard it before, but it's still not like all the way to realism clear. Like it's still a synthesized sound.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Usually when you hear the remakes of songs or whatever, it's done like by an orchestra or what have you. So this is just an interesting little half step going on.
Yeah. Like these are not arranged. These are not actual live performances. This is the source, kind of. Yeah. It's a little bit like, there were stories about when, again, with the mega leak, things were exposed like full res versions and assets of things from Ocarina of Time, where you could like go in and like read the text that was just too blurry. When it showed up on the N64. It's kind of the auditory version of that. Seriously, good. Good.
Has this revolutionized anyone's Zelda timeline of how all the games fit together?
No, it was just a neat little thing. And like Nintendo put out the official Zelda timeline. Not that they should have, but they did. They really shouldn't have done that, but they did. Anyway, go check that out. David, what is Rogue Temple?
So Rogue Temple is a company that came out or is coming out, I'm actually not sure, with a game called HyperRogue, which is a non-Euclidean roguelike.
What?
So it's apparently a roguelike that takes fairly traditional roguelike that takes place on a hyperplane.
Okay.
So
so it's it's a non-Euclidean roguelike coming out in 5 years that we've all played and loved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a non-causal roguelike.
I'm actually very happy to see this art style, because this is exactly like what I would see in masses, like in grad school when we would talk about this stuff.
Huh.
So it seems legit.
So the best way I can explain it is it's takes place on a hex grid, but every time you move to a new square, the hex grids all shift. So it's, I mean, this, I don't think this is exactly what it's what would be like the definition of Euclidean space or whatever, but it's sort of the end effect is as though time is also a factor in the geography. That's, again, not accurate, but that's the best way I can explain it. One of the consequences of this, they point out, is generally speaking, the only viable way to get back to somewhere you've been before is to exactly retrace your steps.
Huh.
And
I mean, that's no different than if you're on a plane, though. That shouldn't be like a scary concept, right?
Well, but on a plane, you could, for example, go around in a circle and get back where you started.
You should be able to do that on this.
But going around in a circle may take
you
an infinite amount of space away and then back again.
Yeah.
You go around in a circle, except you don't have a word for
theoretically you can't get back where you started. Just the fact that, because it's, virtually impossible for, most people to envision how to navigate a, hyperdimensional space or whatever. It's not really realistic.
Yeah.
The other thing is the game is procedurally generated and generates a infinite world, and apparently one of the features is boss monsters that take up a infinite amount of space.
Okay.
So
the cool thing about this from like a game making perspective is the fact that you have this field of view kind of built into it, where the further something away it is, the smaller it is visually. And that's really nice with it in terms of programming too, where it's we only need to draw and render this space that's directly next to you. We don't need to worry about stuff that's really far away at all.
Exactly.
So
go on.
So I mean, in terms of the explore, I'm talking to you like you have played this, which I don't know that you have. I will let you continue talking about it. I thought this was the grind for a second.
No, so I haven't played it. The other thing is, apparently, it says that the majority of the time, from what I gather, the majority of the time, you can kill enemies in one hit, and they can kill you in one hit.
Mm-hmm.
However, simply by entering their square. However, the game won't let you choose a move that would actively kill you.
Okay.
So they describe it as sort of being like chess, in that you can capture or the king or have your king be captured in a single move, but you're not allowed purposely moving into check.
Right.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, and then I guess the other thing is apparently there actually is a end game to this, that you either have to save the princess or find the amulet of Yendor, which I believe was the objective of NetHack.
Okay.
Or a couple other things. And apparently the game takes place, I don't know, this just really entertains me. The game takes place across, quote, 27 worlds, then parentheses, 27 in the free version.
Huh.
Now, what's the non-Euclidean 27?
Oh, well, you know.
27, but written in Joker Man font.
Yeah, 27 but curvy.
Oh man, this team has also made a game called Hydra Slayer, which is a traditional roguelike that they say is a roguelike based on mathematical puzzles. Oh yeah, and it has to do with the different ways that a Hydra's heads can spawn back in. Yeah, this kind of seems to be their thing.
The story in my head is like it's not cool gameplay ideas. It's just things that will make their lives as programming easier. It's like non-Euclidean geometry because we don't have to render as much. And this Hydra thing is probably some shortcut hack for them as well.
Yeah.
Hey, the most important trait of a programmer is laziness.
Yep. But yeah, HyperRogue. It's it's on Steam. It's on itch. Like it's a thing.
It's at least one more dimension of Rogue than the nearest competitor.
I probably, even just watching the video of it kind of made me a little bit motion sick, so I might be staying away from it, but I'll be happy to hear about it.
I feel like I would just end up with like House of Leaves flashbacks.
Math makes me nauseous too, Kole. I get that.
Oh, the concept of it is fine. It's just the way that it is rendered in this ultra fisheye kind of thing is a little bit queasy for me. But I've got weird visual sensitivities. So, Dennis, what's happening in the world of Rust?
Yeah, well, let me ask Ben. Do you want to talk about this one or?
Oh yeah, I was going to do this story. Dennis is doing my work for me now.
Okay, all right, okay.
A Rust thing. Ben must talk about it.
I was literally like, all right, whatever. Yeah, so there's going to be a new version of Rust the devs announced that's called softcore mode, but it's not the sexy kind, it's the streamer kind.
Okay.
And so it's kind of in response to a lot of streamers playing the game lately and like doing it for more like role-playing reasons and not as much like I don't know, twitchy, kill people and then interrogate them as you steal all their stuff type things. The new mode has a couple of changes to the rules. One is you can respawn in safe zones where you couldn't before. You can recover half your items that you lose when you die from a new terminal that they're adding to it. Mm-hmm. You can order things and have a drone delivered to you from across the map. And then this is the weird one. It says you can only view the contents of a wounded player, so that they're going to encourage people wounding one another
to take them alive.
And then take all their things as the person's alive and talking to them and pleading for them not to take their stuff. So
cool.
So the tragedy is increasing in this mode.
I'm down for that.
That's interesting. So my non-educated assumption was like, oh, well, maybe that'll prevent you from just picking fights or like scoping people out to see if you want to steal from them. And like you actually have to enter conflict in order to take something from them versus just being able to like yoink their stuff.
Yeah, I think in practice it's discouraging you from killing people from afar because you cannot get anything from it that way, which is fine. But at the same time, like you probably will down somebody before you kill them, so like I don't know. The other thing it did too is it's setting a max team size of 4. And so that's just to prevent like situations where you get on servers where there's like 100 people in a single fort and they like run the server like a mafia where they just like subjugate all the other people who are not in the clan.
You're assigned a number and a work assignment. Yeah.
Dude, Rust ecosystem is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I talked about this before or not. There's a thing it's like rock raiding is a thing people do where it's like a streamer who has like hundreds of followers on a server. They'll all just be like naked people with rocks and they'll all just go to a base and just like zombies, like knock down the walls by beating it with rocks. And it's like a numbers game. They don't have to like have good tech to beat it. Anyway, that's like a thing that can happen in the game. Whatever. So this is just an avenue to make the game a little bit more friendly, which I actually am totally in support of. I think that can be a fun way to play the game, mostly because I'm not good at it, and I'm usually the one getting shot by people who are really good. So, yeah. I think actually the streamers had a good solution to this too, where they didn't, the gameplay didn't enforce it or whatever. It was just like a rule that they made, but they basically drew a white line across the map right in the middle of it and said, all right, everything north of here, you can do PvP. Everything south of here is role playing. Like, don't kill one another unless there's a role play reason to do it.
Right.
And they just stuck to that. And that seemed like a really nice solution.
Mm-hmm.
So
having this be like at a per server kind of level seems like the right way to do this.
Yeah. That's true. The thing that's weird is that you can't make one on your local computer, though. You have to go into like, I got to make a Rust server if I want to try and do custom. Yeah. But,
okay.
I'm trying to think. Not many games have solved that sort of problem either, because Satisfactory has it where it's completely local, so then nobody else can play it unless you're playing. So
right. Yeah.
Yeah. This would be a good thing for Google Stadia to have.
Maybe. However, if they keep your passwords, guys. Hey, Dennis, what's going on with Google Stadia and Terraria?
Yeah, this is the most doomed vendetta of all time playing out here. But the creator of Terraria apparently had his access to his Google accounts lost. Not clear why, which is part of why he's mad for weeks. Can't access apps, can't get to his email, et cetera, et cetera. Anything Google had evaporated on him. And despite him reaching out first through normal channels, then through public channels, just got no kind of response or support. So his Trump move was to cancel Terraria on Google Stadia in retaliation.
Drop the microphone.
I mean, it's kind of shooting himself in the foot. To lock yourself out of the future of gaming like that, to just say I'm not going to be on nope, I'm not gonna be on Stadia where everybody's going to be in 5 years.
Yeah, but he's still launching it on Google Glass, so go figure that out. But yeah, no, this is. If this helps him feel better about a very frustrating situation, ultimately, I don't think anyone's really going to be harmed on this because no one's going to play it there anyway.
Right.
And it's still available pretty much everywhere else. But yeah, it's just an interesting situation where, you get mad at the Google man.
Yeah.
Apparently the game hadn't been officially announced for Stadia. They'd registered a trademark for it or something like that, so people kind of knew it was coming, but no one. The closest thing to an announcement is this cancellation over not being given the proper tech support.
Right.
So hey, some people have their hills to die on. I'm not gonna rob that from them.
More power to them.
Yeah. I'm just between this and Wall Street Bets, I'm sensing a trend.
Yeah. So this is actually though a fairly notorious thing of people losing access to their Google account, and then if they set up all their other accounts using Google login, just losing access basically to their entire online presence.
Yeah,
scary.
Monopolies are problematic.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I don't use any of those logins. Yeah,
never use social media login.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I try to have good hygiene about that, but it is also entirely dependent on how much I feel like dealing with that bullshit on a given day.
Yeah, and also
I'm probably in the more exposed category.
They make it hard. They make it hard to just sign up with email and a password a lot of the time,
especially if you're on your phone.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
No.
Giving the middle finger to God, good on you, Andrew. And Terraria is a fun game, so I'm sure people will play it elsewhere.
Yeah, there's plenty of other places where they can play it.
I think that's the funny subtext of this is people like that, or people like Mojang or whatever. Fuck you, money now. Where it's they don't. It's and same thing with the guy who did Stardew Valley, where it's it's nice to see people be able to choose the ethics that they want, Not that like this is a huge like ethical dilemma of like I don't know why he got locked out of his account, but it's nice that people have the freedom to I guess like punish or pay back somebody if they are giving them a bad service,
or they've got the freedom to decide what fights are worth fighting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They can speak truth to power, even if power will never actually hear it.
It's a weird dynamic though. Like based on everything that I know about Stadia and how many people are playing it, it might be a situation where, in this instance, Terraria guy might have more power in this. Like, oh,
well,
okay.
there's like, I don't know, 150 games on Stadia, so he's canceling almost 1% of the games on the platform.
Oh man, how do you guys feel about buttoning it up?
I'm amenable to buttons.
Okay,
I got Dyson Spheres to make.
The credit.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this level number 360, bringing it full circle. Not to anything. I just noticed that this is level 360 on the
hyperbolic geometry story was very prescient then.
Yeah. So if you would like to help us out, you can subscribe, leave a rating or review. You can go to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. You can do things like, participate in the multiplayers at facebook.com/the level podcast, all of that good stuff. Is there anything I'm forgetting here at the end? Okay. I've been Kole Ross. You can see my streams on Twitch at Duckfeed.tv.
I've been Dennis Furia on Twitter at Deck of Wonders with underscores between each word.
I've been and continue to be David Mindsmith.
And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. Who has titles?
We have a couple.
Okay, Ben.
I do hikes. I think he said at one point in time.
Okay.
And I had triple bypass.
Okay. Dennis.
Nice. I have 4. So I've got We Do the Good Graffiti.
Okay.
I have Yellow Cube Recipe.
Recipe.
Monster World, Hunter World. And then Sus Style.
Okay. David?
I got nothing.
Okay. I don't have anything either. The one that got the most laughs was I Do Hikes.
I'm fine with I do hikes.
How early in the episode was that?
I was about midway through.
Okay, we're good then.
David had talked about how he did like he had gone hiking and stuff, and then at the end of the grind, when we asked him what he played, he said nothing, and he said, "I've gone on hikes," and then that's when I did my little breakdown breakdown and said, "I do hikes." So
I like it. Our false start had me gun shy.
Yes.
Of early banter stuff, but yes, okay, cool.
Yep, I do hikes.
I am for it.
Cool. All right. And Dottie didn't interrupt the recording at all. Good girl.
Wow.
I mean, she
Such
interrupted
restraint.
it a couple times, but like she didn't actually like stop the recording by stepping on the space bar. So
She's really growing up.
She's going to
becoming
get
more
some
mature.
treats. She's going to get treats is what she's going to get. Yeah.
Positive reinforcement.
Just don't slap another collar on her, you monster.
Oh, come on. Cat needs a collar. If she gets out, she'll thank me. Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to go. Take care, everybody. Try not to freeze, especially down in Alabama. David, I know you've got that polar vortex coming.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. Well, be safe, everybody.
All right. Peace.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.
You too.
Wait.